how I wake myself up. Did you notice it yet? The streets in New Orleans were a mess. All busted up and undergoing maintenance. The city was built on a swamp, so the ground is soft. All it takes is some heavy rain to cave it all in. There were also a lot of places where large tree roots were pushing up parts of the asphalt and the sidewalk. Those bumps were dangerous even when we still had our car, remember? But this town is different. The streets are all paved so cleanly that we can skate along them without a care in the world. And there's hardly any trash or graffiti to be found anywhere. The Clarksons truly do control this place, for better or worse. It's a good example of how allowing certain people to rise to power can have positive effects as well. Also, don't you find that Southern people are remarkably friendly, even to total strangers? Both here and in New Orleans, I've been amazed at how cordial everyone is. Is it just the way things are down here? You certainly don't see that sort of thing in New York or D.C. They never stop to chit-chat, especially when ordering food. They only say what's necessary, without any decoration. The customer only makes eye contact with the waiter about once every 3 times they interact. But that's just how it is. Isn't that right, Sam? The human relationships here are as fluid as an inorganic mechanism running on the smoothest, purest oil there is, and it feels strangely comfortable. After spending time in New Orleans and coming here, I think I'm starting to like the Southern disposition. They even have their own breed of bizarre crimes. And besides, the New Orleans area is famous for its paranormal culture. I'm sure it'll entertain us somehow. I'm still a bit of a ways off, but perhaps we can also do a little case study for our post-retirement. What? You still think it's too early for that? I wouldn't say so. It's never too early to be prepared. Come on, I know you're with me on this one, Zach.
Mr. York, that was mighty quick. The special agent does it again. You sure don't waste any time. I bet my CLG's got a lot to learn from you. By the way, Mr. York, looks to me like you aren't packing anything.
I was on vacation in New Orleans before I happened to stop by here.
Well, shoot, that won't do. Here, I got something I think you'll like. I call him Mr. Alligator. Badass, ain't he? It's a tranquilizer gun for the gators. And here's a radio. With this, you won't have to worry about any expensive roaming fees. Might take you a while to get used to him, but you'll get it. Try letting him rip a few times. Ain't no need to hold back out here.
Now this is an intriguing weapon. For a tranquilizer gun, it really packs a punch. But I'm afraid I'll decline. After all, this town is peaceful, isn't it?
Well, sure it's peaceful. At least the humans are. But the animals are a different story. Remember what I named it? There are some real mean-ass gators out there in the swamps. And every now and then, they wander into town. One of them even went and ate a kid once. It happened a long time ago, but still, one chomp's all it takes. They swallow down every last bit of you. Poor kid's parents didn't even know what to put in his coffin. The worst part is, that taught the gators just how tasty we humans are. So now, those suckers just attack on sight. Man-eating crocodiles will feast tonight. In Blood Swamp!
You know he's fibbing, right? Gators don't attack folks. I never heard about no kid getting swallowed by a gator.
Actually, Patricia, you're wrong.
I'm what?
Alligators do attack people, and it could happen in any town.
Huh?
Alligator, 1980. Directed by Louis Teague. It takes place in the Midwest, I believe. A teenage girl's pet alligator gets flushed down the toilet. Then, in the sewer, it feeds on the corpses of dogs that were used as test subjects for an experimental growth formula. After growing over 30 feet, it finally starts to go after humans. It's an extremely edifying movie. Back when I first saw it, I had a pet hamster.
Hey, Agent York. What's your first order of business? You're in charge now, remember?
Well said, Patricia. I nearly lost sight of my true goal. Melvin, I couldn't help but notice the name on the side of that truck. This facility is connected to the victim, isn't it?
Oh, right. Yeah. I reckon I better start from there. I'm gonna tell it to you straight right from the beginning, Mr. York. As you guessed, this warehouse is run by the Clarksons. The victim's father, Danny Clarkson, is the one who manages the whole place. Okay, but why did he choose to store her body in his own warehouse, right? Well, that's 'cause there ain't no other place to store it. Our town has a clinic inside a church, but no morgue. Whenever someone kicks the bucket, we just bury him in the graveyard right outside of town. But not this time. We got a murder on our hands this time. We need to give Lisa's body an autopsy and keep it stored, right? So we had no choice but to rent out a corner of this warehouse.
I see. So that's what led to the ingenious choice to store the victim's body in a facility that her family owns.
Anywho, this is where the real story begins. Truth is, a few days before you got here, Lisa's body went missing.
Missing?
Yeah. All of a sudden, poof.
Did you leave the warehouse unlocked?
I most certainly did not. I locked the whole place up and made sure no one could get inside. No one stole the original key, and I couldn't find any fingerprints at the scene.
So, in other words, this is a locked room mystery.
The body of a beautiful young girl walks at Hey! All right, CLG. Reckon I should have told you about this earlier when you first said you wanted to come here. It just didn't seem like the time or place as I remember. Anywho, how about we call it a day and head back to my office? You can go through all the files there.
No, thank you. This is what I came to investigate.
But Lisa's body isn't here anymore. You sure?
That doesn't bother me one bit, Melvin. You see, I met a skeletal gentleman on my way here, and he was kind enough to give me an oracle. It's a beautiful day, Patty.
Really? Seems kinda normal to me.
Now that you mention it, yes, it is a normal day. I just felt like saying that.
What? You know, sometimes you really get on my nerves.
You holding up okay, CLG? You sure you don't want to wait outside?
I'll be fine, Daddy. Just make sure you don't take your eyes off of him. He's so selfish and inconsiderate. I'm still not convinced he's actually a real FBI agent. He's talking to himself again.
Zach, this is the ambiguous zero, the deep freeze. Let's hurry up and find that flying serpent, shall we?
Hey, Mr. York, you sure you want to keep investigating this place even though we know the body ain't here?
Of course, Melvin. The skeletal gentleman gave me an oracle, remember?
It's Skella what?
Ugh, he's just joking, Daddy. You can't take him seriously.
Huh? Well, was that really a joke, Mr. York? Well, I'll be. I see you've been hiding some real charm into that whole FBI routine.
Sorry, Melvin, but I'm dead serious.
This is where the body was stored. Well, temporarily at least. Warehouse number 2 still a ways in. You sure it's okay for us to be lollygagging around here? Where... This place always gives me goosebumps, no matter how many times I come here.
Yes, it's quite the funhouse. Truly a dazzling place. Meat entertainment. That's the only way to describe it. Woven together by life, frozen in time, a visceral, musical...
Symphony. We eat all this in order to survive.
Yes, truly a symphony. Life and death, resonating together.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Cool. Whoa now, CLG. Since when were you interested in this kind of stuff?
What are you so surprised for, Daddy? I'm more mature than you are. I've seen way more realistic corpses on CSI, you know.
Oh, man.
At first, Zach, I was shocked by the notion of storing a victim's body alongside food. But as I gaze upon this hanging garden, I realize it's just another scene of violent, depraved murder. Yes. All we need to do is change our point of view, and things will expose themselves in utterly new ways.
Hey, Mr. York, this is kinda, yeah.
Melvin, if you have something to say, then just go on and say it. Otherwise, you'll simply be insulting this beautiful landscape.
You think this is beautiful?
Oh, yes. It's the abnormal world that supports our normal lives. I think that's wonderful. Don't you? Besides, look, Patricia seems to be handling this a lot better than you are.
Well, you see, I ain't too good with this grotesque stuff.
Don't let it get to you, Daddy. Whew. Everyone has at least one thing they're afraid of. Even you, right, Agent York?
Something I'm afraid of?
Yeah, that's right. You gotta have at least one thing. Like clowns.
Clowns are so funny. How could anyone be scared of them?
Zombies.
Love them.
A bucket full of worms.
I could squeeze them with my bare hands.
The sound of screeching glass.
Doesn't bother me.
Then...
They cling to your skin like putrid leeches, robbing you of much more than your vitality. The wet socks.
Melvin, you're a genius.
Let's get along here, Mr. York. Just looking at this stuff gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Melvin, I'd like to take this opportunity to ask you a personal question. In the hotel parking lot, when I first met you, the picture you had on your dashboard happened to catch my eye. Was that your wife?
Oh, her? Yeah, that's my lady, all right. Candy. Her name's Candy. The prettiest girl in town, which makes me the happiest boy. A shooting star landed in a rural town, right on top of a man who now has a meteor-struck heart.
You always keep her photo with you?
You bet I do. The truth is, Candy's a little sick right now. She can't even leave the house no more. So I always keep her photograph with me. Kinda feels like we're always together, you know?
I see. You care for your wife a great deal. But this means that...
Yeah, that's right. My mama had me before she married Daddy. But it don't matter. He's still my real daddy to me.
Oh, thank you, CLG. And you're my pride and joy.
Well, Zach, isn't this a heartwarming scene? But there's one thing I just can't get out of my mind. Don't you think that photograph looked a bit too old? Perhaps Candy is already... No, let's not think about that. It might be a private matter, just like you, Zach.
We're almost to the morgue. The temporary one, at least.
You don't need to keep correcting yourself, Melvin.
I know, but I'm starting to feel guilty all of a sudden. You know, from an ethical perspective. It just ain't right to store a teenage girl's body in a place like this.
Still, rephrasing your sentences won't fix anything at this point. It's a shallow concern, really.
Yeah, I know. But shoot, I just felt like the least I could do is try to phrase it better.
Whew. Don't bother trying to convince him, Daddy. I've only been working with him for a little while, but I already figured out what his deal is. He ain't right in the head. Whew. The FBI should add a new requirement to their hiring process. Must possess humanity.
The body's right up ahead. I'm just gonna turn my brain off and follow your lead, okay?
Here we are, Zach. The morgue. They stored the victim's body in a cold storage warehouse operated by her family. I'd love to shake the hand of whoever came up with that one.
Hey, Agent York. Did you just come here to laugh at rural officers who are doing the best they can? We don't have any special facilities like you people. What else did you expect us to do, huh? Don't compare us with city folk. This is Carré. Or maybe you're just disappointed that you didn't get to see the bloated, decomposing corpse of a young girl.
Sorry, you're right. I went a bit too far just now. But don't misunderstand. I honestly think it's a fantastic idea. I'd never try and bully your daddy.
Better not.
Thank you for understanding. Zach, can you see that? Look closely. That's right. There are 4 imprints in the frost on the top of this. It's hard to believe, but I think these are fingerprints. Yes, Zach, that would lead one to believe that the body napper is a giant who's over 10 feet tall. An icicle. Never thought I'd see one of these down in the South. Boxes that got left behind. I can't tell what's inside. What do you think, Zach? I'm gonna go with okra. Yeah, okra. I'm sure it must be okra. That's a staple of the South. Zach, these are human footprints, and they're extremely large. Yes, Zach, I agree. These footprints must belong to someone who's used to walking around in cold temperatures. Look at the thermometer, Zach. It's at 10 degrees Fahrenheit or minus 12.2 degrees Celsius. This must not be the ambiguous 0. These pallets are a mess. Looks like this area isn't used often. Still, the idea to store a body here. It's a novel, sophisticated idea unlike anything I'd ever come up with. Boxes of the past or presents of the future. Either way, this is a curious time capsule. Forgotten boxes. Looks like shelled headless shrimp. When were these boxes brought here? And when will they be taken away? Zach, can you feel it? The perpetual, unstoppable flow of time. This frost is shaped like something we're very used to seeing. That's right, a body bag. Lisa's body must have been left here. But there are no signs that the bag was dragged away. So our criminal must possess monstrous strength. Seems like our flying serpent isn't here. Is this everything, Melvin? There aren't any other rooms in this warehouse? No special rooms?
Well, there is the luxury foods warehouse.
Luxury foods? Why didn't you say so earlier?
Just thought you wanted to see where the body... I just thought you were only interested in warehouse number 2. Besides, it's underground, so it's even colder than this. You sure you really want to go down there? You could darn well freeze to death. All life will come to an end in the icebound zone. You feel me?
Let's head there at once. I'm sure that must be where we're meant to go.
But what about searching for Lisa's body?
All we need to do is find a 10-foot tall man with monstrous strength. That giant knows where she is.
10 foot tall?
But finding the flying serpent is more important right now. Now please, guide me to the luxury foods warehouse at once. These luxury foods are most likely being used in local Cajun cuisine. I'm so excited to see what we'll find. Aren't you, Zach?
A 10-foot-tall giant? All right. Now that one's gotta be a joke. Right, Mr. York? Oh. That elevator needs a key, Mr. York.
Do you have one?
Actually, no. I didn't think you'd ever want to go down there. So I didn't bother to go and get one.
Well, then would you go and get one now?
Yeah. COG, I know. I'll tell it to him straight. Thing is, Mr. York, you know the Clarksons? The folks who own this place? Well, they don't too much like the police. And they sure as hell don't like them when they're my color. It was, real hard for me to get permission to open up this place for you to search through. So they ain't gonna be too happy if I go back to them now, asking for another key.
What should we do then?
Let's just find a worker here who can lower the elevator for us instead. All they need to do is take a break from their work for a couple minutes.
And what am I supposed to do? Just stand here and pretend like nothing's happening?
Yeah, you FBI folks are good at that, right? That's always what I see you doing on TV.
The elevator won't move without a key, Mr. York. Think you two can go and figure something out? I'll search around here in the meantime. I believe in you. I know they didn't make you a special agent for nothing. You find a key yet, Mr. York? I don't think we can push the Clarksons any further. Sorry, but can you go and figure out some way to get one? I know you can do it.
Zach, I think we can move this. Better check back here as well, just to be on the safe side. Zach, the human ability to adapt is a frightening thing. Some humans have the power to sleep anywhere as long as they set their minds to it. Now we should be able to operate the elevator. No need to worry. This facility no longer has a body to steal. What else do they have to lose? A few cans of crawfish? I feel bad for him, but it's for the sake of the investigation. I'll write him a letter of apology later.
Mr. York, did you find a key? Ha! Now that's my special agent. There ain't no stopping you. Want to head straight down?
You bet. Let's sally forth, Melvin. Zach, look at that thermometer. 0 degrees Fahrenheit, or minus 17.7 degrees Celsius. This is the ambiguous zero.
Hey, Avery! Open the damn door, Avery! It ain't no use, Mr. York. Once Avery starts working on something, that's all he sees. He just tunes out everything else. We'll have to wait until he finishes and comes out to us, I reckon. Or we could come back tomorrow.
I disagree, Melvin. Time may be on our side, but that doesn't mean we should waste it. You gave me Mr. Alligator precisely for moments like these, didn't you?
Wait, Mr. York! Those tranquilizers may be non-lethal, but it's still dangerous to use them on humans.
Of course, Melvin. I never said I was going to shoot him.
You're gonna shoot some meat to get his attention. I'm right, ain't I?
I lent you Mr. Alligator for self-defense. But if you end up hurting a civilian, you can bet you'll be hearing from me. This is Mr. York, an agent from the FBI.
Hi, Avery. I'm Special Agent Francis York Morgan. Please, call me York.
York, you a smarty pants, huh?
He's shyer than he looks. Come on, just settle down, Avery. Tell him what this here place is for.
Lots of expensive food here. Yup. Mighty precious to the Clarksons, so I gotta guard it.
I see. So you're this area's keeper.
Oh, I help with the research too. I do like research.
Research? What are you talking about, Avery? This doesn't look like a lab to me.
Oh, ain't no lab. It's a warehouse. Ain't no lab. Smarty pants scientist does the research. I ain't no smarty pants, no.
He's a bit slow in the mind, but he ain't a bad guy. Your story about the giant who carried Lisa out. Don't tell me you think it's him. I mean, it's true that he's free to come and go as he pleases in this warehouse, but...
No, as far as I can tell, he's just a bit over 6'5". The one who moved Lisa's body must be at least 10 feet tall. He's clearly too short.
Too short, huh? Well, if you ever happen to find a man who makes him look small, I'd sure like to meet him.
Lise.
Hey, cut it out!
Lise. Why?
Avery, that's not Lise.
Not Lise?
This is Melvin's daughter, and my precious assistant. Unfortunately, Elise is no longer with us.
Lise! Lise! My fault! My fault!
I guess he's sort of like Lise, you know? See, the poor fella's got himself a childlike mind. You know how normal kids tease other kids in order to get attention? Well, with this big lug, sometimes folks who don't know him too well see something and end up calling the police. But I know that deep down, he's got a good heart. Hey, Mr. York, I'll keep him busy, but I'd appreciate it if you'd hurry this particular inspection along. Just holler at me if you find anything. I reckon that'll make it easier for you to go do your thing, yeah?
Melvin, I think you're finally starting to catch on.
I'll keep an eye on him while we're here. Just relax, Avery. We'll get out of your way as soon as we're finished. Just relax, Avery.
Avery, this box looks special.
Clarkson food. For their home.
Melvin, is this the Clarksons' family crest?
Oh, the dragonfly? Yeah, that's the Clarksons' mark, all right. Ain't no big deal, though. You can find those all over town.
Is that so?
Well, yeah. They pretty much run all of this town's major industries. Yeah, I do believe they own just about everything there is to own. So their word is law. They got the whole darn town tattooed with their dragonflies. Can't even walk a few steps without seeing one.
Zach, this dragonfly is our flying serpent. The flying serpent owns this town. They're related to Lise Clarkson, our victim. And Hungan's oracle pointed us toward their family crest. The Clarksons must be deeply intertwined with this case. Melvin, Patricia, I think I've had enough of this frozen world. Let's head back out to that merciless sun Well, what are you waiting for? I can't bear to spend another second down here.
Whew. So, what do we do now, Mr. York?
Zack and I will take things from here.
Then what should I do?
Tend to your sick wife? I don't know. You're free to do as you please. I'll stop by the sheriff's office when I need your help again.
I suppose that's what I'll do then. It'll sure make Candy happy. But I am the sheriff of this town, so I do intend to get some work done. I know. How about I search for Lisa's body while you're busy?
Not a bad idea. Just be careful that you don't get attacked by a barefooted giant.
Hey, don't scare me like that. Why do you keep talking about that giant anyway? You really think some giant was responsible for all this?
Melvin, don't be silly. Of course I do. Just when I thought you were starting to catch on. Disappointing, to say the least.
But how can you be so sure? I want to see some proof.
Proof number 1. The footprints that led up to where Lisa's body originally was were made with bare feet. None of the prints looked similar to those of common insulated boots, and the arches of the feet were visible. The person who carried out Lisa's body must have had very large feet. I'd say they were at least 16 inches. Proof number 2. I found fingerprints on the cord of one of the hanging lights in the warehouse. The fingerprints weren't aimed up from below. They were coming directly from the side. Clearly, the giant moved the light because it was in his way. He pinched the cord with his fingers. Proof number 3. There was nothing else found in the vicinity where Lisa's body was stored. This means the giant carried her out without dragging her across the floor. But there's only one set of footprints. The only conclusion I can draw from this evidence is that a barefooted giant, standing over 10 feet tall, carried Lisa's body out. That concludes the entirety of my proof. Any objections, Melvin?
But there ain't no way a human could ever be that tall.
Have you seen every human alive with your own eyes? Well then, you need to forget all your preconceived notions when embarking on an investigation. Whether you come face to face with a 10-foot giant or a skeletal gentleman, you always need to accept everything that comes to you with a clear mind. Do that, and eventually the truth will reveal itself to you. You're a smart kid, I'm sure you understand.
Well, I'll be damned. I'm sorry I ever doubted you, Mr. FBI Special Agent, sir. A sharp eye and flawless observational skills. Uncovering the truth with a heady intuition. I won't ever question you again. Heck, I'll do whatever you say.
That's it, Melvin. I'm glad you finally caught on. Okay, time to go, Patty. You know this town well, so I'd like you to accompany me from now on.
Patty?
When the sun awakens, catch the tip of the baby bear's tail at the false altar. At the entrance to the other world will reveal itself to you.
Zack, it's another oracle. It appears that we're being guided by a mysterious power. This oracle is a simple one. The false altar. You already know what this is, right? The place where Lise Clarkson's body was first discovered. She was found under a bridge at some sort of altar as if she was being worshipped. That's what Chef David said, right? When the sun awakens refers to dawn, of course, and the tip of the baby bear's tail is the North Star. At dawn, look straight to the north from where Lisa's body was found. On the surface, this oracle may seem tricky and convoluted, but it's still mere child's play. Pathetic. Zach, let's follow the oracle and head to where Lisa's body was found. I don't know what otherworld refers to, but I'm sure we'll find out once we get there.
Oracle?
That's right, Patty. This case is a rather complicated one. So Zach and I are following oracles given to us by a skeletal gentleman in order to crack it.
This is Carré Tiger. Do you read me? Over. Carré Tiger to DC Eagle. Do you copy?
It's Daddy. Hurry up and answer.
This is DC Eagle. I read you loud and clear. Over.
Oh, good. Mr. York. I'm sure glad you picked up.
There's no point in using code names if he's just going to say my real name.
Mr. York, can you hear me? Hey, Mr. York. Oh, right. Over.
DC Eagle to Carré Tiger. Is something wrong? Over.
Mr. York, I got something I need to tell you ASAP. Just sit tight and listen, okay? Over.
Roger, Wilco. Go right ahead. Over.
I just happened to overhear some of the Clarksons talking on another channel. Apparently, Lisa's mother's been missing since early this morning. I reckon it might be related to the case, so I wanted to let you in on it right away. Oh, over.
Lisa's mother. You're referring to Galena, the social butterfly? Over.
Another special agent slam dunk. So, you already did a little research on her, huh? That's right. The one who's gone missing is the younger of the Clarkson sisters, and our town's queen of the night. No one can slip one past me, because I'm the ultimate FBI agent, Francis York Morgan. My proverbial hat goes off to your investigative skills, sir. Anywho, Galena used to be an actress, and she's also real pretty in the face. Draws attention wherever she goes. If you happen to spot her while you're investigating, would you let me know? Oh yeah, over. Wait. Hey, Mr. York, what do you say we cut this out, huh? Over this, over that. It all seems kind of overblown, don't you think? Besides, I reckon we're the only ones listening to this. No need to be so stiff, right?
Yes, Melvin, I agree. There's no need for us to cling to formalities.
Glad to hear it. I ain't never been too good with formalities, you feel me? Well, Mr. York, if I hear any more news, I'll be sure to let you know. Good luck out there.
Daddy's such a goofball.
Patty, do you think Galena is really as beautiful as people say?
I don't know, I guess. Men just seem to like women like her for some reason.
Who's more beautiful, Galena or your mother?
What?
Candy Woods, your mother. Melvin said she was the prettiest girl in town.
How should I know? That's a stupid question.
Why is it stupid?
My mom is sick.
Zach, that was a bad move. We stepped right into a private matter without any shoes on. But these things are bound to happen. After all, I'm a special agent of the FBI. And there isn't an organization out there that's more well-versed in the art of infringing on people's privacy. Hey, Patty.
What, Agent York?
Nothing. Just felt like saying that. Hey, Zach. Oh, nothing. Just felt like saying that. Zach, you're a coffee person, right? No sugar, only milk. Yes, I'm completely with you on that one. Looks like we were right on the money. By the way, Patty, what do you usually do when you're at home?
Is this an interrogation?
Oh no. I just figured that since we're working together now, it'd be a good idea to learn a little more about you.
Should an adult male like you really be asking a little girl this kind of question? Feel like I heard a story about this sort of thing on the news once.
There's a time and a place for everything. You know exactly who I am, and I've also introduced myself to your father. Besides, you're the one who said you wanted to come with me.
I was just kidding, jeez. You're an FBI special agent. Why would I ever need to worry?
You shouldn't automatically trust someone just because they're an FBI special agent. One's profession and one's personality are completely separate things. For example, one special agent may fall spiritually in love with a genius criminal who enjoys the taste of human flesh.
That's Hannibal. You pulled that straight out of a movie.
Just because it's a film doesn't mean it isn't deeply rooted in reality. You can't judge people solely based on where they work or how they look. You need to think hard and decide things for yourself.
Fine.
So allow me to ask you this. How do you feel about me?
I don't know. I only just met you.
Exactly. Now it sounds like you're thinking. You should never feel the need to force an answer out or pretend like you know something you don't. Zach, she's a good kid, isn't she? Honest and straightforward.
Oh, wait, there's one thing I can say.
Oh. What?
When you talk to yourself like that, it really creeps me out. Did you start doing that after you became an adult? Or have you just always done it? Either way, you should stop doing it. It's really weird and, makes me wince whenever I hear it.
Ooh. Zach, did you hear that? No need to worry. Neither of us are weird, I can assure you of that. She's probably just having trouble finding the right word to describe us. No, I think I'll stop there. Wouldn't want her to think we're getting desperate.
Like I said, it's really creeping me out.
Did you? Hey, Zach. No, nothing. Just... This town sure is peaceful, Zach. Yes, I know. I know what you're about to say. But that's why... This town sure is peaceful, Zach. Yes, I know. I know what you're about to say. But that's why we're here. To protect this peace. Isn't that right, Zach? So, what do you think of him? Yes, I'm talking about him. Unga, is the skeletal gentleman friend or foe? Or does he merely exist outside the realms of evil? Still too early to tell. But it's clear that he'll be the key to uncovering this case's mysteries. That's what my soul tells me. By the way, Zach, Unga feels very familiar to me. You might even say he reminds me of someone. Yes, I think I see the connection now. A cheerful, wise, yet also mysterious African-American who appeared in a variety of different films. My mind must be overlapping him with the skeleton gentleman. Do you remember his name? Ah, yes, that's it. Scatman Crothers. In 1980, he played Dick Halloran in The Shining. And in 1983, he was in The Twilight Zone. He played the man who invited all those elderly folks into a strange new world. I knew it, Zach. There's definitely a connection here. But he's a bit too old. Scatman's more of a sage character. Our skeletal gentleman is a little younger, isn't he? Yes. They have different body types, but what about Forrest Whitaker? He made his debut in 1982 in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Then he was in Platoon and The Color of Money, both released in 1986. Followed by Good Morning Vietnam in 1987. Oh, and he was in Bird in 1988. What an impressive filmography. Across the 80s, he transformed his rough, young image into a more cheerful, wiser one. That's why the 80s can also be described as the decade that built up Forrest Whitaker's career. I firmly believe that he'll win an Academy Award for Best Actor someday. Yes, I'm sure it's right around the corner. He'll most likely wait until the time is ripe. Maybe around next year, then he'll unleash his best performance yet. Zach, I could go on about famous actors forever, but we have a case to solve here. Let's table this discussion for now. Hey, let's shout something out loud.
Like what?
Chocolate Sundae.
Okay, sure. Actually, never mind. This is stupid.
Hey, Zach. No, nothing. Just felt like saying that. Hey, Zach, it looks like we were right on the money. Tracing the Sang Rouge distribution route led us right to Louisiana. You know what that means. We've got a hot hand, and Lady Luck's given us... Zach, it appears to be closed. Let's come back during business hours. Hey, Zach. No, nothing. Just felt like saying that. Hey, Zach, it looks like we were right on the money. Tracing the Sang Rouge distribution route led us right to Louisiana. Patty, what's that?
That tree? Or the water tower?
That thing I'm pointing at. That.
Like I said, what?
That... Zach, you're a coffee person, right? No sugar, only milk. Yes, I'm completely with you on that one. Hey Zach, it looks like we were right on the money. Tracing the Sang Rouge distribution route led us right to Louisiana. You know what that means. We've got a hot hand, and Lady Luck's given us far more favor than she ever has before. We just happened to hear news about Lisa's murder while sitting in a bar during our vacation in New Orleans. That certainly wouldn't have happened if we had stayed in D.C. They would have given the case to another special agent, or maybe even to the state, and then we never would have found it. In the end, it would have been shut up in that vast, desolate evidence vault along with all the other cases, marked by nothing but a first-degree murder tag, buried in a soggy grave at the bottom of a sea of data. That would have been its fate. Instead, it traveled from person to person until it fell right into our lap. Things always work out that way for us. We've traveled all over the United States trying to track down Sun Rouge. Can't let this chance pass us by, can we, Zach? We need to find some sort of clue before this southern sun melts it all away. Hey, Zach, it looks like we were right on the money. Tracing the Sun Rouge distribution route led us right to Louisiana. You know what that means. We've got a hot hand.
Mihalama. Verily.
Where's the thing I just bought?
All awaits thee at the altar. Altars exist, whether thy needs exist. The bedchamber of thy hostelry doth possess one therewith.
So where's my thing?
All altars lead to the other realm. Thusly, all periapts in thy possession may be confirmed at any altar.
The other realm?
Forsooth. Any mirror may metamorphose into an entrance to the other realm. Prithee, say thou doth grasp this wisdom.
You can see the same world as the skeletal gentleman?
I am the mirror. As my name doth suggest, I am the looking-glass given flesh.
Zach, it appears that there's still a lot about this world that we don't understand. This is the deep south. There's no telling what might happen next. What a strange feeling. It looks like there are spots to place other items as well. If we find anything that seems like it might fit, let's bring it back here. After all, what do we have to lose? What, you think that sounds like a pain in the neck? Come on now, Zach. Surely you know that all rituals work this way. Blessings from beyond will only come to those who exhibit the finest level of courtesy and reverence. In short, they're reflections of the self. Only with a mind deep in the dirt will you know true tranquility. Then your body will turn to dust and dance with the wind. Who came up with that quote? That one was all me, Zach.
Me alone. Verily. I can see it. Thou hath discovered the very purpose of my emporium, that is.
Right?
And who might you be?
I'm Raven, but around here they call me the Speed Witch. You're here investigating the lease case, yeah? And instead of a car, you're using a skateboard? For real? You've already become the talk of the town, you know? Anyway, I was just wondering if you needed any help. What's your name?
I'm FBI Special Agent Francis York Morgan. Please, call me York.
Okay, Yorkie it is! I'm actually testing out a new kind of business right now. And I was hoping you'd be down to try it out, Yorkie.
What kind of business are we talking about here?
I drive my customers to wherever they want to go, and once we get there, they pay me. Now that I think about it, I reckon it ain't much different from a taxi.
Seems a bit strange to call it a new type of business, then.
Only 'cause you haven't heard the details yet. Here, let me explain. I got a feeling that in the future, cell phones are gonna get more advanced. And people are gonna be able to just order taxis from their phones whenever they need to get somewhere. So I'm thinking, hey, why don't I just start a company that instantly sends out drivers to take folks from point A to point B?
How?
I want to make it so that anyone out there can just register on my site as a driver. I'm talking normal people, not pros. Then once we get a request, we'll just send out the driver who's closest to the customer. It'll be a hell of a lot more convenient than public transportation and faster than any normal taxi company. I'm positive it'll be a big hit. And I'm gonna call it Wyvern. The logo will be a Y and a V. Cool, yeah?
Is that legal?
Beats me. But if I hire them all as independent contractors, I reckon it'll work out. See, that means each driver and customer will be bound by their own private agreements. My company will just provide them with a platform to hook up. Squeaky clean, right? Now, here comes the fun part. I want to help you get around while you're in our town, Yorkie. For a fee, of course. Keep an eye out for my balloons. Whenever you see one in town, give me a whistle and I'll be there.
Why not invite me to use your site then? Why are you out here driving around?
I'm still experimenting with this business model. My site isn't open yet, and I'm still trying to figure out what sort of fees will work best. So I decided to go find myself a customer to get a feel for how things will really go. Well, wanna ride?
Zach, that was quite the spiel, wasn't it? This seems like little more than a scheme to make some pocket change from carpooling. What's new about that? Although it will be a bit hard for us to keep investigating here for days with nothing but a skateboard. What do you think? Should we accept her offer?
That's what I'm talking about. Come on, get in, get in. If you don't want to ride with me, I ain't gonna force you to. But if you ever change your mind, just give me a call. I'm always ready to get out on the open road.
Sure thing.
Why, Vern, the new cutting-edge transportation service. We'll come to you, wherever you are. Bye now.
Very good, sir. Please. Serving you is my greatest pleasure, sir. Please do let me know if there is...
Hello there, mister. Need something? Hello there, mister. My restaurant serves only the highest quality Creole cuisine, the real deal, which ain't too easy to find in a backwoods town like this.
Did I hear wrong then? Set me straight, would you, chef? I thought that Cajun food was the norm in Acadiana. Why would you go out of your way to serve Creole food here?
When I was a youngin', I trained myself at a famous restaurant in New Orleans.
A famous restaurant? That's incredible. Was it Arnaud's? Antoine's? No, don't tell me, I got it. Brennan's, right?
None of those, actually. But that place taught me how to really cook. Go on and try something, you'll see.
Very intriguing. That food was unbelievable. I see you weren't lying about undergoing training at that famous restaurant.
Now you just trying to embarrass me, mister. I still appreciate it, though.
And you must have undergone some rigorous training in order to gain such refined technique. You put so much care into preparing everything just right. And your manipulation of that low-temp flame in order to bring out such a pleasant fragrance, simply perfect. This is true Creole food. You have to tell me now, which famous restaurant did you train yourself at? Come on, chef, we need to know. Zach and I are begging you.
You drive a hard bargain, mister. All right, I reckon I can give you a hint.
Really?
Oh, just a hint now.
Fine, we'll take it. Just say it.
It's the restaurant that serves the most famous fried chicken in all of Louisiana. Crispy, crunchy. You know what I'm talking about? Bonafide fried chicken.
No, you can't mean...
Oh, yeah.
I'll bet they worked you pretty hard.
Mm-hmm, you betcha.
So that's how you acquired the mental fortitude necessary to cook such amazing food.
Oh, my time there taught me just how tough city life really is.
Amazing. Zach, did you hear all that? That's an incredible story, David. You really are a true chef. Both Zach and I have given you our official approval.
you